There's a couple of ways of doing this question. One that involves fractions from the start and one that doesn't. I'm going to go through the one that doesn't. I think it's a bit less intuitive to do, but it's really nice to understand. Um, but yeah, I'll go through both. So let's say we give the smallest square a length, and we don't know what to start off with. So I'm gonna change it in a minute because it's gonna not quite work out. But let's say we made it 1, then this would be 1, and this would be 1, and then this would be 2 because you can see there's two lots of it. Now I have to try and figure out this medium size rectangle square, and that is kind of an issue because now I've got 4 and I've got to 3 to split it into. So actually 1 was not a good number to try, but at least that's the starting point. So if I need it to be divisible by 3 essentially, and if I change it to 2, that isn't going to work. But if I change it to 3 in length, the smaller ones, then it will work really nicely because now I'll get 12, which I split into 3 squares, and each one's going to be 4. And that is essentially enough to get all the areas that we need to, because the dimensions of the whole square are going to be 5 lots of 4, so it's going to be 20, and of course the bottom is going to be 20 as well. So now I can just focus on all the big squares. Well, I'm going to get 2 lots of 6 times 6, which will be 72. Then let's look at the medium squares. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8 lots of 4 times 4, which is going to be 128. And then the smallest squares, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 lots of 3 times 3, which is 36. So the sum, or the shaded area, I should say, is going to be these added together. I'm going to get 108 by adding the last two, plus 128 from the middle one, which is going to give me 236. So the fraction shaded is going to equal 236 divided by 20 times 20, which is 400. And I want to get it as a percentage, so now I need to cancel it down. So I could either halve it and then halve it again, but I think I'll just divide 236 by 4, divide top and bottom by 4. So 4s into 23 go 5, remainder 3, and then we're going to get 4s into 36 go 9. So it's going to be 59 over 100, and hence 59%. So I hope you're happy with that. No fractions until the very end. Now, let's look at a second method that is just loads of fractions all over the place. Okay, this is actually how I did it. Um, so now I'm basically going to call this length here 1, or I'm just gonna refer to it as the work in terms of the whole, which means that this here is going to be 3/5 of the whole. And if I want to work out all of this area on the outside, it's therefore going to be 1, or the area is going to be 1 times 1 minus 3/5 times 3/5. It's going to be this red area because I'm minusing this inside bit. And that would be 1 minus 9 over 25. 1 is 25 over 25, so it's going to give me 16 over 25. Now, how much do I actually have? How many squares do I have? Let's count them. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another 5 here, so that's 10, and then 3 and 3, so I've got 16. And then we've got half of them are shaded and half of them are not shaded. So I'm going to need to times this by a half. So the outside shaded is going to equal 8 over 25 overall. Actually, I could work that out as a percentage. I could times top and bottom by 4 to give me 32 over 100, or 32%. Okay, let's look at the rest of it now. So the inside, well, remember I had 16 over 25 on the outside overall. So the inside is then going to, it's this 9 over 25 that we got from doing 3/5 times 3/5. So if you look at the big squares, then it's going to be half of the overall area. So half times 9 over 25, which will be 9 over 50, or 18 over 100, or 18%. So I've got another percentage, and now I just got to work out these little ones. So the small squares, well, we're left with a half of this 9 over 25 here and here, and then half of that is the small squares. So it's actually going to be a half of this 9 over 50, or equivalently a quarter of the 9 over 25. So I'll just do a half of the 9 over 50, which will give me 9 over 100, or 9%. And therefore, overall, the shaded percentage is going to be 32% plus 18% plus 9%, which gives me 59%. Which is better. I think this is a bit easier to understand, but it's, you got to be careful. You've got to make sure that you start out with this 3 and that you're careful adding all the squares together. This way's good, a bit more technical, I think, so I'd probably opt for the first method. But having said that, if I did this question again, I'd probably automatically do this fractional method.